Friday, 22nd of September. Now, Friday, I don't know about you, always feels like we can get excited about the weekend. We can figure out what we can watch at the cinema. Fabulous, which means, without further ado, let me introduce our fabulous film critic. It's Van Connor.
Oh, Lily, it's been a minute. I've not seen you in ages. How you doing?
I'm all right, my lovely. How are you?
Oh, I can't. Do you know, there's a new Expendables movie in cinema, so that means I'm great.
Oh, really? Okay. So, I have to say, the Expendables franchise, Van, has passed me by. Do I need to binge watch 1, 2, and 3 before I launch into this one?
No, it's not Chaucer or anything. I wouldn't worry. There's not intense continuity to it or anything like that, but we will get to it. I'll tell you what, I'll whet your appetite first with something a bit more grounded.
Yep.
I'll give you a true story. I'll give you a true story drama for the weekend, and one that's kind of funny as well, because, you know, it's very styled around something like The Big Short. Were you a fan of The Big Short?
Oh, yes.
So on very similar grounds, we have a movie out today called Dumb Money, and it's from the director of I, Tonya and Cruella, Craig Gillespie. It features actually Sebastian Stan, who starred in I, Tonya, funnily enough, for that director. It's an all-star cast: Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Pete Davidson, Sebastian Stan, Shailene Woodley, Nick Offerman is in there as well. America Ferrera from Ugly Betty and the recent Barbie movie, she's in there. And it's the story of the GameStop scandal drama. You know, when there was a bunch of aspiring investors, like everyday people, basically invested in the stock for the GameStop chain in the US, banking that on the idea that Wall Street would try and short it. And they wound up creating this incredible financial disaster that wound up with everyone being called before a Senate Select Committee and having to testify before the authorities as to what on earth went down. And we get that visualized to the screen with an all-star cast, as we say. I've got a clip for you. It's called Dumb Money, as I say. It's in cinemas from today. And I've got a clip for you of Seth Rogen's character, a billionaire banker type, hedge fund manager type, preparing his speech for Congress while stood in front of the most garish wine collection you've ever seen.
Love it.
Maybe leave that part out.
Part about my dad?
The executive part.
Okay. I went to a public high school. I studied hard and got into Northwestern.
Did you say a good college?
I can't say I went to Northwestern.
To elite.
Northwestern's too. All right. Upon graduation, I did not have a job. Today, I'm married with 4 children.
Gabe, where do you plan on doing your testimony?
Here?
In front of your wine collection?
I mean, I don't have that big a wine collection.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh, I love it already. It sounds brilliant. I do love these films, Van, where people, you know, it's sort of real life things where they've built it up, it's all come tumbling down. And you get to see sort of behind the scenes of that world.
It's a great ensemble character drama. It lacks the morality or the fun, I think, of The Big Short, and it actually lacks the fun, whimsical way of explaining things that The Big Short had. For instance, when they featured cameos from people like Selena Gomez, Margot Robbie, Anthony Bourdain, people like that. The weird cutaways that they did that really made the film. And you feel like if this had those, it would have elevated it to a whole other level. As it is, though, it's a fun enough, breezy dramedy, you know, true story kind of antics. It's got a great soundtrack, has to be said. I mean, unfathomably good soundtrack, actually. And you get a bunch of actors that you really enjoy. You know, people like Pete Davidson, Seth Rogen, people are just, you know, showing up and coming to play in small, you know, relatively subdued roles. I had a good time with it, but I kind of wish I'd had a great time with it.
Okay.
Instead.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a fair synopsis of it. Brilliant. Okay, so that's Dumb Money. That's out now.
That is out today in cinemas.
Great. So Expendables 4 then, Van.
Yeah, or Expend4bles, if you go with the titles. It's Expend and then the number 4, BLES, as they're titling it. So it's Expend4bles from the people that brought you Tacthrene. You know, it's one of those. Or Scriform for that Scream movie as well. This one is, say, it's the fourth go around for the mercenary team known as the Expendables, comprised on screen of all sorts of, a legion of 80s and 90s action stars like Stallone. Previous alumni have included like Jet Li, Wesley Snipes, Antonio Banderas, people like that. This time around, it's mainly Statham that's leading the team. New inductees into the squad include Megan Fox, Levy Tran, and 50 Cent. You've also got Andy Garcia appearing as their new boss. And this time, a mission goes terribly awry, in which Iko Uwais plays a renowned international terrorist who absconds with a bunch of nuclear detonators, and the remaining members of the Expendables team have to set out to retrieve them, except for Statham, who's been sidelined as punishment and just goes rogue anyway, because
of course
it's one of those movies. It's what you do, isn't it? It's a day ending in Y. You go rogue. That's what you do. If Tom Cruise proved anything to us, just go rogue. That's what you do. And it turns out the team may actually have needed him to do so. So I've got a clip for you. This is from very early on in the movie. It's one of the very first scenes. This is Stallone and Statham starting a bar fight over the fact that Stallone lost his lucky ring in a bet.
See, what we have here is a matter of humiliation and human kindness. My friend here loves his ring for all of his stupid reasons. And it would be very nice and civilized if you gents would understand that principle. But since you choose to be, Barney, what's the word?
Obstinate.
Too long.
Dumbbells.
Dumbbells. You leave me no other choice, Dinky.
I mean, it's almost a pastiche of itself, isn't it? Jason Statham,
it is. Oh, it is. They know it.
Yeah.
They know it. And when you've got 50 Cent like dropping in tanks whilst they play PIMP over the top, you know that all bets are off with this taking place in any semblance of reality. But good fun. It's an idiotic, dumbbell 3-star action movie. It's it tries to have some twists and turns, but the whole thing is constructed so shoddily, because these things always were, that you can see them coming a mile away. It's big reveals. They're not really big reveals. It's like there's a whodunit, and you're like, well, I wonder if it could be any of the new characters, of which there's basically 3. So that kind of narrows it down. It's not really much in the narrative stakes. But to be fair, if you're going to an Expendables movie, let alone the 4th one, looking for anything surprising in the way of narrative, you know what you're getting, don't you? So more of the same. There's some good fun. There's a great 50 Cent needle drop whilst 50 Cent is having an action sequence, which is funny enough in it. So you find yourself cackling with sadistic laughter, and you get to see Statham fight the lead from The Raid, which for my money, that's worth the ticket on its own. Yes, just take my money. The trailer should have just been that, and they would have just had my money straight there and then. Plus, you get Statham and Megan Fox doing the whole Mr. and Mrs. Smith routine, the sexy fighting routine, which is that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and if you're going to go and see something, you want to see something big and explosive on the big screen, don't you? You want to get
absolutely.
Yeah, get that surround.
This delivers the explosions, definitely.
Lovely stuff. So we've gone from Dumb Money to Dumbbells in one fell swoop. Lovely stuff. Van, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your honest critiques of the films that are out this week. And Adam, will chat to you next week, my lovely.
Till the next time, Lilley, you take care.
You too. Thank you very much. Lovely Van Connor there.